Right then, pull up a chair, grab a pint, or a cup of tea if you're feeling proper, and buckle in for the most aggressively patriotic bit of landscaping the world has ever seen. This, my friends, is the tale of Operation Paul Bunyan. Spoiler alert, it's not about lumberjacks. Well, actually, kind of is. But not your flannel-wearing, maple syrup-swigging type. Nah, this one had chainsaws, fighter jets, and enough military muscle to make Rambo blush. Because when 2 American officers got murdered over a poplar tree in the most awkward part of Korea, the DMZ, Uncle Sam rolled in, sleeves up, and said, "Right, we're cutting the damn tree down, and we're bringing the entire US military to watch." Let's set the scene, yeah? It's 1976. America's still licking its wounds from Vietnam. North Korea, still very much North Korea. And smack in the middle, there's the Korean Demilitarized Zone, the DMZ, one of the tensest borders on the bloody planet. A place where even breathing funny can be seen as an act of war. Now, in this tense spaghetti western standoff zone, there's a tree, a cheeky little poplar tree. Sounds harmless, right? Well, this tree just so happened to block the line of sight between 2 UN checkpoints. A problem, especially when the other side occasionally kidnaps or shoots at you for blinking. So on August 18th, 1976, a small crew of US and South Korean soldiers heads over to give it a trim, just a little off the top. Leading the team, Captain Arthur Boniface and First Lieutenant Mark Barrett. And just as they start snipping branches, bam! They're surrounded by North Korean soldiers. Words are exchanged, tempers flare, and in what would later be dubbed the axe murder incident, both Boniface and Barrett are brutally attacked and killed. With their own axes. Yes, axes. Now here's where most countries might pause, breathe, maybe send a strongly worded letter. But not the United States of 1976. Oh no, they brewed some coffee, cracked their knuckles, and launched what can only be described as the most unnecessarily epic tree removal operation in human history. Enter Operation Paul Bunyan. Why Paul Bunyan? Because he's the American folk hero, known for chopping down forests with a blue ox named Babe. Subtle? Not even a little. August 20th, 1976, just 2 days after the attack, the US and South Korea roll up to the DMZ with 2 30-man security platoons, 64 South Korean Special Forces commandos, armed to the teeth, military engineers with chainsaws, support from F-4 Phantom jets, B-52 bombers and aircraft carriers off the coast, and a fleet of attack helicopters circling above. Oh, and a Cobra helicopter gunship hovering nearby for good measure. One soldier described it as a surgical haircut performed by a sledgehammer. By the way, get this, each man had live ammunition, grenades, and a full-on battle load to chop down a bloody tree. And the tree didn't even fight back. Imagine this like a Tarantino film. The sun rises over the DMZ, choppers thunder overhead. The ground rumbles from the distant B-52s circling like angry wasps. And in the middle, a bunch of guys in hard hats with chainsaws revving like Harley Davidsons in a war zone. North Korean soldiers watch from their side, no doubt thinking, what in the actual hell is happening? Then poplar tree is brought down in under 42 minutes. No gunfire, no fighting, just military-grade forestry. Afterwards, they chainsawed it into logs and hauled it away. Because if you're going to flex, you might as well clean up afterwards. What if North Korea had retaliated during Operation Paul Bunyan? Well, you'd be watching a video titled World War III, the tree that ended us all. The US had troops on full alert across South Korea, Japan, and even at sea. One misfire from Pyongyang, and there's a non-zero chance Seoul would have lit up like a Christmas ham. But they didn't. Because even Kim Il-sung, North Korea's supreme leader and proud grandpa of Kim Jong-un, knew this was not the time to start swinging. In fact, just days later, North Korea sent a rare message of regret over the incident, which in dictator speak is basically groveling. By the way, get this. During the operation, the US even had nuclear-capable B-52s flying a visible route up the Korean peninsula, not secretly, not stealthily, visibly. It was like saying, this is a very big stick, don't make us use it. Let's break it down, yeah? Moral clarity, the US response was clear. We will not be messed with. Full stop. Purpose. Avenging 2 murdered officers and showing strength without starting a war. Integrity. They didn't retaliate with blood. They retaliated with symbolism. That's rare and, frankly, clever as hell. This wasn't just a military op. It was a geopolitical ballet with chainsaws and helicopters. A Cold War flex, a carefully choreographed display of controlled rage. Operation Paul Bunyan wasn't just about vengeance. It was about theatre. It was a statement, carved in wood and backed by jet fuel. It reminded the world, and particularly North Korea, that even in the most volatile of moments, the United States had the resolve, the might, and the petty theatricality to show dominance without firing a shot. In the grand ledger of military operations, this one's filed under ridiculously overkill, but also brilliant. So next time you're trimming a tree, remember, it could be international diplomacy, it could be the start of a war, or it could be a folk hero-themed flex that stops one. Stay curious, stay sharp, and stay just sober enough to remember it all. This was just a swig of history, and if it wasn't in your textbook, it bloody well should have been. And before you go, do a brother favour. Like, share, and subscribe. Cheers.